Welcome to Back to Basics Bushcraft. Man, already a week since my last upload now. Today's episode, obviously, we're not in the overworking on the semi-permanent camp, but I figured I'd bring you the next best thing I could. So I'm starting a new series on alternative lighting, and this is obviously part 1, episode 1, whatever you want to call it. But this is something that I'm pretty passionate about and something I've been researching for a while and definitely looking into is the alternative lighting that you can have. And my research has come to many different people thinking of many different fuels, electricity, kerosene, Coleman fuel, white gas stuff. But the common consensus that I've come to is kerosene is usually my favorite alternative fuel, just because of the simplicity of it. You don't have to worry about recharging it. You just pour it into a lamp and it's good. And at the end of the whole researching about kerosene, I found that the best lamps that you can buy are Aladdin lamps, so here we'll put them on the table now. So these right here are the only 2 Aladdin lamps that I own. Now this first one I got probably about 2 winters ago, and this other one I just got a few weeks ago at an antique shop. This one costed me like $125. It's a Model 23 burner. It's what a lot of people say was pretty much the last good burner, because the next one they came out with was the 23A, which was apparently had a lot of issues. I've never had one, so I don't know. But yeah, it was $125 for this one, which is an amazing deal. If you had bought all these things brand new today with the burner that they have right now, it would cost well over 350 to 400 Canadian dollars. So I paid 125 Canadian dollars for this. It's super bright, super great on fuel. Parts aren't so cheap. Mantles, they break every couple months, but that's normal. I haven't ever had a mantle just break after a week or a day or anything like that. They seem to be pretty resilient, although they aren't perfect. They are just ash after all. And as for this one, unfortunately I'm not going to be burning it today because this is my last mantle that I have, actually, which surprised me. I thought I had at least 2 more, and I haven't stocked up on mantles since I first bought the lamp 2 years ago. So, and I've ran this for pretty much 2 winters in a row. I don't run it in the summer too often because puts out a lot of heat, and I mean it's light out so late. I had to wait till when it's pretty late out to be able to film this video, so it'd be dark for it. Before I forget to talk about this last Aladdin lamp that I said that I just bought a few weeks ago, it's also a Model 23 burner that it's got. It was $74, which is a great price. I mean, it didn't come with the chimney, which is about a $20 part, and without the mantle either, obviously. But I mean, these lamps, they're built to last. You could run these things every day and you'd only need to replace the normal parts. A chimney lasts, I believe, about a year. A mantle will last 4 months. A wick, I believe, lasts 2 years. Don't quote me on it. It could just be 1, but something crazy like that. Now this, liter of fuel, I'd say it's about a liter, will last probably 12 to 16 hours, and I mean, kerosene, it's a pretty cheap fuel. So now let's get to the parts of the lamp, and I figure I'll do this on the one that I'm not going to be running today since it doesn't have a mantle in it. Now this blue coating on this mantle is only for protective reasons. When they ship it, you can hold a flame to it and it ignites instantly and turns to ash. So this is simply for transport, mail, storing. It makes it pretty strong. I mean, I've never really knocked them around too much. I'm sure you can still break them, but it makes them a much less prone to falling apart. And with the this is the chimney. Obviously these things last quite a while as well. I mean, they're not meant to last forever. It's a lamp that runs on excessive heat, and I mean, the glass just can't withstand that forever. Then you've got underneath, this is what you do to light it. It's obviously, you don't want to be taking the glass off if that mantle is, you know, fragile and made of ash. So this right here is your wick turning knob, and it just simply, it's a round wick, as you can see, and it ignites. It's got to be quite even. Usually when you buy a new lamp, it comes with a wick cleaning tool. I don't have that, so mine don't burn quite even, but next time I buy some mantles and everything, which should be soon, I'll definitely be sure to buy one of those as well. So I mean, that's your main parts. You got fuel fill cap there, you know, simple. You just put a funnel in it and fill it up. Wick's pretty easy to change. You can see those videos on YouTube, or when I do eventually change this, I'll probably do a video. So like I said, mantle, you just hold a match to it. Make sure you don't put the match through the darn thing, because that would be a waste of $14. Mantle is about 14 bucks, wick's 20, and I mean, chimney's 20, so you're looking at maybe 50 to 80 bucks a year to run these things every single night for 4 or 5 hours a night, which is much more than you need where I live. And then you got this one. This one's a bit different, obviously, because it's got the nice glass shade. And now I'm pretty sure this tripod thing that it came with isn't quite the right thing to hold up the shade. But here's the used mantle. This mantle has been used probably about 2 months now. Still holding up great. Of course they have little holes that form, but you know, what can you do? It's not going to fall apart anytime soon. Now, pros and cons of having a glass font, which is what they call what holds the fuel. You can also call it a fuel tank, I don't really care. But there's pros and cons, obviously. This is fragile. If I drop this thing, you're going to be spilling a liter of kerosene and breaking your font. This is metal, more durable, but it's much harder to fill up because you don't know exactly where you are all the time, right? Big thing with these lamps here, compared to like a normal electric light that you just flip a switch on, is that they're not at all idiot proof. You can quite easily ruin the mantle by turning the wick up too high and stuff, which is, I'm guessing, a big part of why these things are not commonly used anymore, because there is a huge amount that could be user error with it. It's very often user error. Now, if you do have your wick too high and your mantle does become a bit blackened, it's easy to just turn it down and burn it back off. I've never had it so bad that I couldn't burn it off, but I'm sure it's possible. So you got to keep an eye on it. You never want to leave the room with these things, because although it's never happened to me, you can have a flare up where the gas is vaporizing too quickly and lights up in the chimney, and flames will spew out the top. So you always need to be here to see that and have something, a saucer or something to put over top of it if that were to happen. Like I said, I mean, I've used these things 2 winters in a row pretty much every day, and nothing even close to that's ever happened, but better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't think there's much else to do other than show you lighting it and show you the light output. So with these, they also need about 10 minutes to heat up, you know. I mean, I've turned them up sooner than that, but I don't want to crack the glass on these chimneys, you know. They're pretty expensive. But yeah, 10 minutes is the average time. Maybe I usually wait about 5 minutes, but sometimes 10. So I'll just quickly get a lighter. So I got myself a lighter here. Let's put this one down to the side for now. So I guess with lighting these things, basically all you do is turn up the wick just enough to where you can touch it with the flame. So I'll do that. Light both sides, and generally I like to wait and until it is all the way around. You can see that the flame's much too high right now. You can also tell where the high spots might be on your wick if you turn it way down, and you can see where it's kind of coming up. This wick is actually looking pretty good. Pretty even. So now what I'll do is I'll put it on like this, and I'm going to zoom in here. So what you want to do is turn it up till it's just barely incandescing at the top, and you'll know when it happens. So it's just barely incandescing at the top from what I can see. Maybe turn it up a bit more. There we go. Man, this might be more uneven than I thought. I'm gonna go turn off the light so you guys can see easier. So as you can see here, the wick or the mantle is incandescing just ever so slightly at the top, and you'll see as it heats up. I mean, generally I wait till I can feel the heat radiating off the glass, so I'll be back in what feels like a second to you guys, but it'll just skip the 2 to 5 minutes that I wait. I've waited long enough. It's only been about maybe 2 minutes, but I can definitely feel the heat radiating off of it, so you'll see me get bright in a second here. So you turn it to about where you think it is going to be at first, and man, that really looks bright on the camera. They say it's equivalent to about a 45 watt light bulb, or you know, the old light bulbs, the incandescent light bulbs. It's equivalent to about a 45 watt or 40 watt. But let me zoom out here. You can turn it up a bit more than that. And I mean, this light, it's bright. I mean, it's the closest thing you'll ever get to a pressure lantern, and the great thing about this is, unlike a pressure lantern, it doesn't give off any sound. You can't hear any sound from it, and as long as it's running properly, you'll never smell any kerosene until you blow it out. And I mean, I'm not very sensitive to the smell. Maybe if someone's really sensitive to the smell of kerosene, it might be an issue for them or for you, but I mean, it's a pretty light scent. It's not a strong scent. So I'll back that back out. Make sure we're focused still. So as you can see me pretty well. Here's, I mean, my sheet of notes that I wanted to make. So you can see them pretty well, easily readable. And I mean, this isn't even at full power. There we go. I'd say that's about full power. So, I mean, it's too bright to look at. It's burning my eyes. You can probably easily see me. I can easily read this book. I'm sure you can too. Here's what it's like with the shade on here. So the shade takes out a lot of the brightness from your face, you know, so you're not constantly looking at that super bright orb of light. And yeah, that's the Aladdin lamp. You can see all the way around. I mean, if I had a few of these and enough kerosene to get me through something, I could light my whole house up with this. And I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm buying this stuff, because when I do own a cabin somewhere, I'll have the perfect lights for it, the best lights. So the final thoughts on this is the Aladdin lamp. It is not at all, man, my camera's doing weird things. The light's not flickering in real life. That's just my camera trying to auto adjust, sorry. So you're just gonna have to deal with that unless maybe I'll put the lamp over here. That way the camera's not freaking out quite so much. So overall thoughts on the lamp is, although the parts aren't cheap for it and there is a lot of possible user error that can happen with operating the Aladdin lamp, it is the single best, most brightest kerosene, non-pressurized kerosene lamp you can buy. Now, I haven't tested out the Rayo burner or anything like that, or even own one. I'd love to own one day, and I'd love to test it out. But I don't see how anything can beat a mantle lamp at all. I mean, so yeah. Other than that, I think that's everything with them. Cost of running, I already explained, was probably $50 to $80 a year in parts. Kerosene, you'd probably need to fill her up, you know, once a week. And that's about it. She just runs. Clean the wick. So, this is probably the least maintenance-free alternative light source you can have, but it's also the brightest and the nicest, and that's my final thoughts on it. So please rate, comment, subscribe, and have a great day or night.